Whenever a crisis happens, the first question military officials ask is, where are the carriers? They are America's forward presence, able to deploy wherever and whenever they're needed. Tonight, Fox 6's Carl Deffenbaugh and Chief Photographer Andy Konkle take you on board the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower to show how these massive ships operate around the world.
Establish starboard delta.
Green deck.
There's a saying in the Navy that the flight deck of an aircraft carrier is 4.5 acres of sovereign U.S. territory.
One of the most dynamic working environments here known to man.
Good to go, sir.
Because unlike the Army or the Air Force, this branch of the military doesn't require a base of operations to launch missions all over the world.
For other countries to have aircraft carrier pull in, it just shows the might of the United States Navy.
For 3 days in early April, we experienced what life is like on board the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower, where the nation's defense and conflicts abroad aren't just headlines, but daily realities.
The nice thing is people don't remember that we're at war because we're keeping people safe back home.
The Mighty Ike returned December 30th from a 7-month deployment to the Mediterranean and Persian Gulf. The crew completed almost 2,000 combat missions and dropped more than 1,200 precision-guided bombs on ISIS targets in Iraq and Syria.
You see them leaving with bombs, and then they come back empty, and you're like, we did something today.
But even after getting back from deployment, the work continues. During our time on the ship, the sailors were in the middle of 2 weeks of arduous training exercises.
It's been a pretty grueling schedule, basically for the past year and a half, and I think it's really brought the crew together.
Our first day featured carrier qualifications for the pilots, as a senior officer tried to earn the role of mission commander by coordinating an elaborate strike involving 27 planes. And for every jet in the sky, there are hundreds, thousands more sailors on the ship involved in launching, recovering, and maintaining the aircraft.
See the kind of the ballet that we have, and that takes a lot of training and takes a lot of experience.
Green deck.
On the second day, the mood on the bridge is tense,
Launch trailer pod.
as naval exercises mimic the entire strike group passing through a narrow strait, when the aircraft carrier is at its most vulnerable.
You can see all the different straits that we were going through, and you can imagine, which ones are more threatening and which ones are not.
Mock hostiles probe the surrounding water as helicopters ward them off.
We have some jets set to launch an alert in case there's some sort of an air threat that comes out quickly at us.
It's an elaborate and expensive scenario, one they hadn't done in a year.
Come left, still course 155.
But it's necessary to ensure the sailors' skills are honed and ready.
We try to stress the crew and stress our training and our tactics and things like that now, because then it makes it easier when we're doing it for real.
As the centerpiece of U.S. naval operations and military might around the world. Carl Deffenbaugh, Fox 6 News.
Can get your adrenaline running, doesn't it?
It is very impressive.
Wow.